My topic is pay what you want pricing in detail explain, and let's go to the topic and let's go to the start. Pay what you want pricing is a pricing strategy where the customer decides how much they want to pay for a product or service. This strategy is often used for events, digital products, and other non-physical items. The goal is to increase the number of customers buying the product and to generate more revenue from those who are willing to pay more. This pricing method can also be a way for companies to build goodwill with their customers. However, pay what you want pricing can also be risky, as some customers may undervalue the product or service, leading to revenue loss. It is important to carefully consider the pros and cons of this pricing strategy before implementing it. Pay what you want pricing is a pricing strategy where customers are allowed to pay any amount they want for a product or service. This pricing model is also known as pay what you like, name your own price, or donation-based pricing. The idea behind this pricing strategy is to give customers the freedom to decide the value of the product or service they are purchasing. The approach is often used for digital products, such as music, e-books, or software, but it can also be applied to other types of products and services. While pay what you want pricing can attract customers who might not be willing to pay the full price, it also has the potential to reduce profits and create uncertainty about revenue. Additionally, it can be challenging to find the right balance between pricing and value, and some customers may take advantage of the system by paying very little or nothing at all. Overall, pay what you want pricing can be a useful tool for businesses that want to increase sales or build customer loyalty, but it should be used with caution and a careful consideration of the potential risks and benefits. Pay what you want, PWIW, is a pricing structure that lets buyers contribute an amount they choose in exchange for a product or service. This model is also commonly called donation-based pricing and pay what you can pricing. You might be wondering, why would I let customers choose their price? While it might seem unconventional, this approach can have a variety of positive impacts on your business and your bottom line. Let's take a closer look at some benefits of pay what you want pricing. Pay what you want pricing is best known as a marketing strategy. You give customers a taste of your products at a rate you know they can't refuse, because they picked it themselves. After getting a taste of your incredible products firsthand, you can have new customers hooked for life. The POI pricing method achieves the same results as a free trial while offering additional perks for online sellers. Unlike a free trial, a pay what you want offer will bring customers in while still bringing in some cash for you. Additionally, POI pricing will weed out freebie seekers who are completely unwilling to pay, bringing forward only the best customers interested in your products. Pay what you want, or POI, also referred to as value for value model, is a pricing strategy where buyers pay their desired amount for a given commodity. This amount can sometimes include zero. A minimum, floor, price may be set, and/or a suggested price may be indicated as guidance for the buyer. The buyer can select an amount higher or lower than the standard price for the commodity. Many common POI models set the price prior to a purchase, ex ante, but some defer price setting until after the experience of consumption, ex post, similar to tipping. POI was a buyer-centered form of participatory pricing, also referred to as co-pricing, as an aspect of the co-creation of value. Pay what you want, also known as POI pricing, is a pricing strategy in which buyers pay the desired price for a particular product, commodity, or service. The approach may sometimes lead to the value of zero. Following the buyer's guidance, one can set a suggested price and a minimum price. In such a case, the buyer can also appeal to POI pricing when setting a price higher or even lower than a standard price. Many given POI pricing models establish a special price before purchase. Such a method is known as the ex ante approach. Yet, some buyers appeal to POI pricing and engage in price setting after the consumption experience is presented. Such an approach is known as ex post. In general, pay what you want is a buyer-centered method, a form of participatory pricing model. Furthermore, the pay what you want pricing model relies heavily on the customer's perceived value of the product or service. This means that the company must have a strong brand reputation and provide an exceptional customer experience to justify a higher payment from customers. Additionally, a high degree of transparency in the pricing process is necessary, as customers are likely to feel deceived if they feel a lack of honesty or clarity in the payment process. One advantage of pay what you want pricing is that it can attract new customers who may not have been willing to purchase the product at a set price. The pricing model also encourages customers to engage with the brand and learn more about the product, leading to potential repeat purchases or referrals. On the other hand, pay-what-you-want pricing may not be suitable for every industry or product type. Customers may find it difficult to determine a fair price for a product or service, leading to low payments and revenue loss for the company. Additionally, it is more difficult to set a budget and predict revenue under a pay-what-you-want pricing model. Overall, pay-what-you-want pricing can be an effective pricing strategy for companies that prioritize customer engagement and building brand loyalty. However, careful consideration of the risks and benefits of this pricing model is necessary to ensure that it aligns with the company's goals and objectives. Pay-what-you-want pricing, also known as POE, is the pricing strategy that does not set a selling price but allows the customers to decide based on the quality of the product. This strategy allows the buyer to pay whatever amount they like. However, the seller may set the minimum amount to prevent any dishonest customers. POE wants to convey two messages to the customers. First, company feels very confident about the product's quality. The company strongly believes that customers will be happy with the product and pay a high amount without setting a price. Second, they want to empower the customers to decide on the pricing compared to product. To explore social media. In this social media era, everything can be explored and catch the attention of many people. It is even more effective than the other kind of advertisement. Usually, the company also provides free stuff or POE for a short time. People will keep sharing this on any platform to gain more like and share. By taking this advantage, the business will exploit social media very fast. Short-term promotion. It is highly likely to be a short-term promotion only as the owner wants to get more attention from people and the media. It should finish after the company entirely operates. Build brand image. There are many ways to promote the brand, and now people tend to decrease their belief over the advertisement. They believe that the ads will not provide the full picture of the product, especially the negative point. The viral of something different will have a stronger impact than traditional advertisements. Pay-what-you-can business model? How does it work and what are its pros and cons? Here is everything you need to know about PWY. Pay-what-you-can, PWIC, is a non-profit or revenue-driven plan of action which does not rely on set costs for its products or merchandise. Instead, it requests that clients pay what they feel the item or administration is worth to them. It depends more on correspondence and trust to succeed. This business model is often seen as a donation and not actually as purchasing a product for the organization to make a huge profit. Pay-what-you-can organizations implement this business model once they have achieved profit from previous sales and advertisement, hence the ability to implement a pay-what-you-can strategy. As the name suggests, pay-what-you-can, PWIC, pricing leaves it up to the customer to pay what they think the product/service is worth. In the music world, Radiohead and Amanda Palmer have released music that can be accessed for free but where payment is requested. Fans being fans, these two musicians ended up making more money than they would have through traditional retail releases. Increases reach. Free spreads faster than expensive, low-cost items are purchased more often and in larger quantities than luxury goods, and when price isn't a barrier, more people buy and share. This business model entices members of the public to engage with the business or organization, potential future customers. Attracts a large number of potential customers from friends and families of current customers, word of mouth. Allows for price discrimination. Normally this means companies try to extract the most a customer would be willing to pay by offering different services, such as extra legroom on planes. For instance, consider how much you would pay for a grilled potato breakfast. For some people, the answer is $12. For others it is $18. A restaurant that prices its smashed potatoes at $1.16 may be losing some customers, those willing to pay only $12, and also fail to capture the full value from other customers, those who would have been willing to pay $18. By allowing people to pay as they can, the restaurant can successfully cater to both types of customers. Undercut business competitions. Pay-as-you-can is also used to undercut the competition. After a competitor must have posted its prices in a menu or on a website, customers can always pay less at the pay-as-you-want business. This can not only increase the number of customers but could drive competitors out of the market. Maximizes customer value. Customer value maximization, CVM, is a marketing term that entails getting as many sales as possible, for as much money as possible, from as many potential customers as possible. For most companies in the United States, their CVM strategy includes lots of discounts, clearance sales, group purchase deals, limited time offers, upsells, etc. In some cases, there are hundreds of people in a marketing department working year-round trying to increase this number. With Pay What You Can, though, you don't need a marketing team. The pricing technique itself maximizes customer value. Pay What You Want pricing is a pricing strategy that allows customers to pay any amount they choose for a product or service. The concept is based on the idea that customers are willing to pay what they believe a product or service is worth to them. This pricing strategy can be used for a variety of products and services, from music and books to restaurants and software. It has been popularized by musicians, who have used it as a way to distribute their music online, and by restaurants, who have used it as a way to promote their business and gain publicity. One advantage of Pay What You Want pricing is that it can help to generate buzz and publicity for a product or service, as customers are more likely to talk about and share their experiences with others. Additionally, it can help to build customer loyalty, as customers who feel they are getting a good deal may be more likely to return in the future. However, there are also some potential drawbacks to this pricing strategy. For example, customers may not be willing to pay enough to cover the costs of producing the product or service, which could result in a loss for the seller. Additionally, it can be difficult to determine what price points are most effective, and sellers may need to experiment with different approaches to find what works best for their particular product or service. It is important to conduct market research and gather customer feedback to determine if a Pay What You Want pricing model is suitable for the company and its products or services. Factors such as competition, industry norms, and pricing psychology should also be taken into account. Ultimately, Pay What You Want pricing can be a powerful tool for companies to differentiate themselves from competitors and build strong customer relationships. By providing value and transparency, companies can encourage customer trust and loyalty, leading to long-term success. However, it is important to carefully assess the risks and benefits before implementing this pricing strategy. Additionally, companies should establish clear guidelines and communicate them effectively to customers to avoid misunderstandings or abuse of the system. It is also important to regularly evaluate the effectiveness of Pay What You Want pricing and adjust as necessary to ensure profitability and sustainability. Increases business risk. Adopting Pay What You Can does increase the risk for businesses, as customers can easily pay nothing, or less than the seller's costs. Surely people will jump at the opportunity to shortchange your business, paying much less than the standard rate. After all, we all love getting stuff for free. Also, this business model all comes down to perceived value, willingness and ability to pay. So if you are selling, don't try this model unless you believe 200% in your offering and the value it holds for your customers, otherwise you'll come up short on the income side. Location and customer demographic constrained. As a seller, you are depending heavily on the kindness of your customers, as well as their willingness and ability to pay. So if you are attracting cash-strapped teenagers, students, pensioners and bargain hunters looking to pay next to nothing, this business model may not work. It could even bankrupt your business if you don't sufficiently cover your costs. You also require a strong connection between buyer and seller. For example, you may support a cancer charity, and give them bigger donations more often, because a close friend passed away of cancer. Doesn't work with every product. For this business model to work, the cost of producing one more item is expected to be low. A product that can realistically be sold at a wide range of prices, like high-ticket assets like art, used cars and property tickets for this criterion, discourages customers. To add more uncertainty to this business model, a 2012 study stated that the Pay What You Can may discourage some customers from buying a product altogether. Why? The researchers propose that individuals feel bad when they pay less than the appropriate price, causing them to pass on the opportunity to purchase the product altogether. Pay What You Want pricing, also known as Pay What You Like or Name Your Own Price, is a pricing strategy where customers are allowed to pay any amount they want for a product or service, with no minimum or fixed price. The idea behind this pricing model is to give customers the flexibility to choose how much they are willing to pay based on their perceived value of the product or service. The Pay What You Want pricing strategy can be used in various industries, including restaurants, music, software, and books. It can be an effective way to increase sales, attract new customers, and build loyalty. However, it can also be risky, as customers may choose to pay less than the cost of production, leading to a loss for the seller. Some businesses that use the pay-what-you-want pricing strategy set a suggested price, which serves as a guideline for customers. Others use this strategy for a limited time as a promotional offer or for charity events. Overall, this pricing model can be a valuable tool for businesses looking to experiment with different pricing strategies or to increase customer engagement and loyalty. Furthermore, companies should consider factors such as competition and market demand when implementing pay-what-you-want pricing, as it may not be suitable for all industries or products. It may also be helpful to use data analysis to better understand customer behavior and preferences in order to optimize pricing strategies. Ultimately, pay-what-you-want pricing can be a powerful tool for increasing customer engagement, building brand loyalty, and driving revenue. However, it must be implemented thoughtfully and strategically in order to be successful. By setting clear guidelines, regularly evaluating performance, and considering market factors, companies can effectively leverage pay-what-you-want pricing to achieve their business goals. This pricing strategy is as simple as the title suggests, with the buyer determining the price. There are some major advantages to this and of course some significant drawbacks of the approach. As well as using business examples to examine the pay-what-you-want model, this approach will be examined in the context of a crisis such as the one we are experiencing now regarding COVID-19. The pay-what-you-want model forces the seller to accept whatever price the buyer deems the good or service to be worth. The buyer has complete free will in this decision and can quite easily set a buying price of 1 penny, and you would assume customers will take advantage of this opportunity and pay the 1 penny or very little. This, however, is not always the case, and there are therefore situations where this approach is useful. One example of the pay-what-you-want model garnering great success is at the non-league football club Hitchin Town FC. They have regularly employed this model to charge fans for friendlies and even league matches, sometimes with the added incentive to the customer to pay more, driven by some or all of the gate receipts being donated to charity. This causes the buyer to pay more, with average gate receipts, when this model has been used, even outstripping the normal standard pricing. The real analysis if this model would be to break down the pricing when the money was going solely to the club versus when some or all of the money was going to charity. One would expect the latter to drive a higher price point, but should consider that case separately, for then we are talking donation rather than pure price. Pay-what-you-want pricing, also known as pay-what-you-can or name your own price, is a pricing strategy that allows customers to choose how much they want to pay for a product or service. It is an alternative pricing model that gives customers more control over the price they pay. This pricing strategy has gained popularity in recent years, particularly in the entertainment and hospitality industries, such as music, movies, and restaurants. The idea behind this pricing model is to create a more inclusive and flexible pricing structure, while also promoting customer loyalty and satisfaction. However, there are several potential drawbacks to this pricing model. For example, customers may undervalue the product or service, leading to lower revenue for the seller. Additionally, some customers may take advantage of the flexible pricing structure, paying less than what they would otherwise pay under a fixed pricing model. Overall, the effectiveness of pay-what-you-want pricing depends on the industry, the product or service being sold, and the target market. It can be a successful pricing strategy when implemented properly, but it also requires careful consideration and monitoring to ensure it is profitable for the seller. Moreover, it's important to communicate the value proposition of pay-what-you-want pricing to customers, including the ability to pay what they feel the product or service is worth, as well as the opportunity to support a company's mission or social cause. Additionally, companies should be prepared for the potential risks of pay-what-you-want pricing, such as revenue uncertainty and taking advantage of the system by underpaying or not paying at all. To mitigate these risks, companies may want to consider setting minimum prices or implementing a cap on how much customers can pay. In conclusion, pay-what-you-want pricing can be a powerful tool for businesses looking to engage customers and increase revenue, but it must be implemented thoughtfully and strategically. By considering market factors, setting clear guidelines, and communicating the value proposition to customers, companies can successfully leverage this pricing model to drive their business goals forward. However, it's also important to note that pay-what-you-want pricing may not be suitable for every business or industry, and it should be carefully evaluated on a case-by-case basis. Ultimately, It's important to weigh the potential benefits and risks before implementing this pricing model, and to continually evaluate its performance in order to make adjustments as needed. Another example of this approach at work is within the music industry. Up-and-coming bands will often release albums with a pay-what-you-want pricing model for download. Famously in 2007 Radiohead used this approach for their album and Rainbows, achieving a lower than normal average selling price of £6 but a far higher than average download number, thus giving them more market penetration. You can also see live performers regularly display CDs in whilst playing with a donations bucket, allowing the buyer to pay what they perceive the value of the music to be to them. A pay-what-you-want model can therefore drive higher sales and aid in market penetration. The model can be seen in the buyer's eyes as completely fair and reduce barriers to purchase. The psychology behind this being that the buyer has all the power and therefore feels in control. A business is likely to secure customers they otherwise would not, and this can be a great way of attracting people to a new service or good. In the football example, this pricing model may help get new fans to come and watch non-league football for the first time and then return and be happy to pay the standard price. In the music example, this may get people to listen to your music for the very first time and then buy concert tickets or your next album. This risk, however, is obvious, and that is that this pricing model leaves itself open to exploitation. One potential risk of pay-what-you-want pricing is that some customers may take advantage of it and pay little or nothing for the product or service. This can lead to lower overall revenue and can potentially harm the business's profitability. Additionally, customers may not see the value in a product or service if they are given too much autonomy in determining its price, which can ultimately lead to a decrease in perceived value. It's also important to consider the type of industry or product that you are selling before implementing a pay-what-you-want pricing model. For example, it may work well for a small, local business selling handcrafted items, but it may not be as effective for larger, more established companies selling technology or other high-end products. Overall, pay-what-you-want pricing can be a useful and effective tool for some businesses, but it should be approached with caution and careful consideration. By evaluating the potential benefits and risks, businesses can decide whether pay-what-you-want pricing is the right approach for them and their customers. The pay-what-you-want model is risky because people can essentially pay nothing. This becomes especially risky if your costs have a certain level of volatility and you incur variable costs for each additional transaction. For example, a hotel will incur a cost for every visitor, and a pay-what-you-want model may not cover this cost each time and could quickly see the business becoming loss-making. With no guarantee of a pricing point, there is no way of forecasting revenues and managing margins, so this pricing model is almost like pricing blind and certainly is pricing with no control. It is for these reasons this model is not very popular in the marketplace. There has, however, been a slight adaptation to this model that has seen some usage. A pay-what-you-want model with a suggested price has become popular for some museums and art galleries. One such example is the National Art Gallery on Trafalgar Square in London, where a hint is given around how much you should pay. The gallery, however, is still at the mercy of the customer's goodwill, and the buyer still has all the power. You can attend the gallery all day and consume one of the world's best art collections and leave at the end of the day without paying a penny. The gallery must rely on the hint persuading the customer to pay, or for the customer to consume secondary goods like food and drink, where they can charge high prices and secure high margins. The hint, however, may generate more goodwill and can help the buyer by offering direction, as sometimes a pay-what-you-want model can actually leave a buyer agonizing over a fair amount to pay. It is interesting that businesses have started using this model when it appears abundantly clear that more study is needed into whether the hint actually drives the price point up in order to assess the effectiveness of a pricing hint within this model. Pay-what-you-want pricing, PWOW, is a pricing model where customers have the ability to pay any amount they wish for a product or service. This pricing model allows customers to determine the value they place on the product or service and pay accordingly, which can be an effective way to increase sales and customer satisfaction. However, the success of PWOW pricing depends on several factors, such as the perceived value of the product or service, the target audience, and the marketing strategy. It may work better for digital products and services, as they have lower production and distribution costs, and it may be less effective for physical products, where costs are higher. Additionally, PWOW pricing can be risky for businesses, as customers may undervalue the product or service and pay less than the cost of production, leading to a loss. Therefore, businesses need to carefully consider their costs and pricing strategy before implementing a PWOW model. Overall, Pay what you want pricing can be an innovative and effective way to attract customers and generate revenue, but it requires careful planning and consideration. The gallery is a good example of why this model could be an option for specific businesses, though, as this model allows access to all. By having a pay-what-you-want model, the gallery may see some people choose not to pay or pay very little simply because they can, and some people pay a considerable amount as a gesture of goodwill. This model also, however, allows those who could not afford to attend an art gallery the opportunity to consume culture and broaden their horizons without incurring a cost. This has to be considered for certain businesses where access should be a priority, certainly in line with profitability, if not even above it, to support the national good. This is a niche type of business, and it is for that very reason that a niche pricing model becomes applicable. Assessing this pricing model during a crisis such as COVID-19, the first thing to categorically state is that caution is required. From a profit perspective, it is better in a time of crisis to suffer a fall in volume rather than a fall in price. A pay-what-you-want model is likely to increase volume, but at the detriment of the existing pricing point, making engaging in this approach, if you have not done so before, irrational. If a service offering is so greatly affected by a crisis that it is no longer the same offering, then a temporary pay-what-you-want model could be applicable. For example, a small local museum may charge entrants £5 entry fee, but suddenly due to COVID-19 they can only provide access to 50% of the exhibition in order to maintain social distance. In this instance, they could move to a pay-what-you-want fee with a hint of standard price is £5. What this could do is actually drive the pricing point up, as loyal customers want to support the museum and pay more, whilst new customers may extend goodwill and pay the standard price or pay less, but crucially will pay something, whereas the previous price point means they may not have attended. The pay-what-you-want pricing model is not overly popular in the marketplace for the simple reason it gives too much power and control to the customer. There is no control over price setting for the seller, and the revenue stream becomes too unpredictable to manage. There are niche examples where this approach could be considered pricing excellence, but these are rare, and for most profit-orientated private businesses this pricing model is simply not going to be applicable. I do not have personal opinions, but I can provide additional perspectives that may be relevant to humans reading this. One additional risk of pay-what-you-want pricing is that it may be challenging to determine the fair market value of a product or service and establish pricing guidelines for customers. This can lead to inconsistent prices and difficulty in establishing a profitable business model. Additionally, pay-what-you-want pricing may attract customers who are only interested in getting a good deal rather than genuinely interested in the product or service, leading to a less loyal customer base and potentially lower word-of-mouth marketing. Finally, pay-what-you-want pricing may create a sense of uncertainty for the customer, leading to a negative customer experience and potentially damaging the reputation of the business. Ultimately, whether pay-what-you-want pricing is a viable strategy for a business depends on a range of factors, including the nature of the product or service, the intended target audience, the competition. It may be worthwhile for some businesses to experiment with different pricing strategies to find the one that works best for them. Pay-what-you-want (PWIW) pricing is a pricing strategy where customers have the option to pay any amount they choose for a product or service, including paying nothing at all. The PWIW model has become increasingly popular in recent years, especially for digital products like music, software, and e-books. The PWIW model can be an effective way to attract customers and increase sales, especially for businesses that are just starting out or for products that have a high perceived value but low production cost. By allowing customers to choose their own price, businesses can potentially attract more customers who may have been deterred by a fixed price point. However, there are also some potential drawbacks to PWIW pricing. One of the biggest challenges is that it can be difficult to determine the optimal price point, which can lead to lower revenue than a fixed pricing model. Additionally, some customers may take advantage of the system and pay nothing, leading to lost revenue for the business. Overall, PWIW pricing can be a viable pricing strategy for some businesses, especially those that are focused on building a loyal customer base or testing new products. However, it is important to carefully consider the potential advantages and disadvantages before implementing this pricing model. Pay-what-you-want (PWIW) pricing is a business strategy where the seller lets the customers decide how much they want to pay for a product or service. In this model, the customer has the freedom to choose any price they want, including zero, and the seller receives payment accordingly. PWIW pricing can be beneficial in several ways. First, It allows the seller to reach a wider audience by removing the price barrier that could be preventing some customers from buying the product. Second, it can help build customer loyalty and increase customer satisfaction by giving them the feeling of being in control of their purchases. Third, it can provide valuable insights into customer behavior, preferences, and price sensitivity. However, pricing also comes with its own set of challenges. One of the most significant challenges is setting the right minimum price to avoid customers paying too little or nothing at all, while also maintaining profitability. Another challenge is ensuring that the customers who pay nothing or very little are not taking advantage of the system, which can lead to reduced revenue and profitability. Overall, pricing can be a good option for certain types of products or services, such as digital goods or artistic creations. However, it may not be suitable for all businesses or industries, and it requires careful consideration of the potential benefits and challenges before implementation. Giving back with your online business. Conversely, businesses also use pay-what-you-can pricing as a way to give back, making their products or services more accessible and less burdensome to individuals in any financial state. Giving back can have several positive impacts on your business, including connecting with the community, building brand loyalty, doing good, plain and simple. An ideal fundraising sales method. Pay-what-you-want pricing offers an alternative to fundraising platforms with high transaction fees. At the time of publication, GoFundMe, a popular fundraising outlet, charges 2.9% plus 30 cents per contribution. The more money you raise, the more you have to fork over to the crowdfunding host site. Pay-what-you-can pricing can help you avoid this fee on your campaign success. Additionally, this method makes it easy to offer contributors something in return for their donations. For example, let's say you are an artist fundraising for a charitable project. You can raise money by creating a POE listing for a digital art print. In return for their donation, contributors will automatically receive the digital download, further incentivizing your campaign and offering you additional exposure. Boosting digital product sales. Digital products are an ideal form of passive income. A single item can earn you unlimited sales without requiring any additional work from you. However, if you find your digital product sales dropping, you might consider pay-what-you-want pricing. Switching up your pricing method can rejuvenate your sales and bring in new customers. If a lower, discretional price leads to a higher volume of sales, you can make more money without putting in any extra effort. In these cases, POE pricing can even generate more income than fixed pricing. Understanding your market. When entering the online marketplace, one of the greatest challenges some creators face is pricing. Naturally, you do not want to leave money on the table by undercharging for your products. On the other hand, you do not want to limit your sales by charging more than buyers are willing or able to pay. If you find yourself wondering, how much should I charge for my products? POE pricing can help. Some online sellers use pay-what-you-want pricing to better understand their market and customers. Once you have an idea of what your ideal price point is, you can relist your item with a firm price tag, avoiding undervaluation. Your artwork and handmade items are, in some ways, priceless. However, creators are often pressured to list items at a low price point, making it easy to undervalue their work in the online marketplace. When you launch pay-what-you-want pricing, you can open up the ceiling on the value of your items. You might be surprised to see how many customers know your worth. Buyers might even regularly contribute more than you would have charged had you put a price tag on your items. You can also ensure your items are properly valued by setting a minimum POE price. Clearing out extra low-cost inventory. Have you ever had so much extra inventory that it begins overrunning your workspace? You can clear out old inventory quickly while still making money with pay-what-you-want pricing. This method is similar to placing closeout items on sale, though you might find POE pricing especially intriguing for potential customers. Setting up pay-what-you-want pricing. Samcart makes it simple to launch pay-what-you-want pricing in your online store. When launching a new item, select pay-what-you-want in the pricing type drop-down menu. Your selection will generate the minimum contribution box. Enter in the minimum amount you will accept for your product. If you do not want to require any minimum payment, you can set this value to $0. You can choose to further customize your listing by adding a suggested price, configuring a recurring payment option, and more. Once you have the product all set, you can launch your item and begin bringing in sales almost immediately. It is just that simple. You can find our step-by-step POE support guide here. Pay what you can pricing. How do you make money? For small businesses, pay what you can pricing might sound like highway robbery waiting to happen. However, advanced online selling platforms like Samcart offer a safeguard to ensure your business still makes a profit: minimum suggested contributions. As the name suggests, this feature sets a minimum amount that customers can pay to get your product or service. You can also include a suggested price, which gives customers a look at the estimated value of your products. This feature can nudge customers to be more generous with their contributions, or help customers at your minimum price range understand the value and generosity of your offer. Pay what you want pricing, also known as pay what you can or pay what feels fair pricing, is a pricing model that allows customers to determine the price they are willing to pay for a product or service. This approach is often used by businesses that want to offer more flexibility to their customers or to test the market demand for a new product. In a pay what you want pricing model, customers are given the freedom to pay any amount they wish, including zero, for the product or service they are interested in. This can be a risky approach for businesses, as it can result in customers paying significantly less than the product is worth or even nothing at all. However, the pay what you want pricing model can also lead to positive outcomes for businesses. For example, it can increase brand awareness and customer loyalty, as customers may appreciate the company's commitment to flexibility and transparency. Additionally, it can help businesses to reach new customers who may not have been willing or able to pay the full price for the product. Overall, pay what you want pricing can be a viable pricing strategy for businesses that are willing to take on some risk and are looking for ways to differentiate themselves from their competitors. However, it requires careful planning and execution to be successful, and may not be suitable for all types of products or services. Pay what you want pricing, also known as pay what you like or name your own price, is a pricing strategy where buyers are given the option to pay any amount they wish for a product or service. It is a pricing model that allows customers to determine the value of a product or service based on their own perceived worth, rather than a fixed price set by the seller. Pay what you want pricing can be used in a variety of industries, including music, software, books, restaurants, and even in charitable organizations. It can be a great way for businesses to attract customers who may be hesitant to pay a set price, as it allows them to pay an amount that they feel comfortable with. Additionally, it can help businesses to build a loyal customer base by fostering a sense of goodwill and trust with their customers. However, pay what you want pricing can also have some drawbacks. It can be difficult for businesses to predict or know how much customers are willing to pay. Additionally, some customers may take advantage of the system and pay very little or nothing at all, which can lead to financial losses for the business. Overall, pay what you want pricing can be a useful strategy for businesses, but it should be approached with careful consideration and planning to ensure that it is successful. Thank you for watching the video and subscribe the channel.